We're well into June now, and we've got your update on what's coming to subscription services like Game Pass and Humble Choice.
Also, we just had the Summer Games Fest and the Xbox Showcase. Tons of new announcements, things to talk about, and we're going to do it right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another jam-packed episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest things happening in the video game industry. You can find us on YouTube, Fruit Lab, and podcast services everywhere. My name is E-Rock the Red. As always, I am joined by this man right here. Full clip. What's the haps, my dude?
What's good? I mean, we're surviving. I got nothing to say. I don't have much to say this time because we've got a shitload of announcements from so many different little pockets of the gaming industry. Everybody has to have their own little unique showcase these days.
Dude, it's crazy.
We're littered with gaming news.
There's so many, and you could go down as small as like the smallest indie game. It's all happening this week, dude. Like I've watched. Granted, I fast forwarded through I watched the Wholesome Games showcase, which is a bunch of like cozy games. I watched the Future Games show last night. Fast forwarded through a bunch of that. The big one, Summer Games Fest, we're going to talk about. Xbox Showcase is happening later today. We're going to, have an addendum to that if need be. But yeah, it's been a jam-packed weekend of gaming news, and I'm excited to chat about it. Have you gotten a chance to play any games or anything this week?
Just been sticking to XDefiant. Things have gotten a little better with like the server issues we were talking about last time. I think more people just needed to get past that level 25 cap on the introduction playlist. So now things are working a little more smoothly, as you'd expect.
Nice. Yeah, I played a little last night myself, and man, I was a little sleepy when I played, so I wasn't at my Twitch best. But dude, I was getting crushed, and I was like, all right, I played 4 games. I did like my dailies or whatever, and then I bounced.
The first game I played, I really, really wasn't paying much attention or giving it much effort, and did terrible. And the dude in the lobby just gets very, very toxic and hands me my ass. So the next game, I really put it in the effort and do a little bit better. But I wanted to bring up on this point with all these events going on. Ubisoft Forward event is going to be Monday the 10th when this podcast drops, and they say to watch out for some info on XDefiant, and there's also going to be some sort of exclusive Twitch drop, so maybe like a skin or something coming.
Oh, sweet, nice, yeah, and we'll be talking about the things that happened at that event on next week's show. It'll be old news by then, but I think they're going to show off Star Wars Outlaws. And a bunch of other stuff like that. So yeah, probably some new factions for XDefiant being talked about. Get those rabbits in there,
Yeah,
make it happen. I played by one of our favorite genres, the simulator genre. I got into Pool Cleaning Simulator. Came out of early access last week. On June 5th, it came out of early access, and it's from the Playway, Freemind, the classic people that make these simulator games. So they sent me a review copy. They're like, listen, Eric, we need your honest opinion about this game. We're getting shit on Steam. Like it's got mixed reviews on Steam. So I went in expecting it to be like full jank, and to me, it's one of the better simulator games. No joke. Like it's got it's kind of like the we have power washing simulator at home. Like because most of the time you're cleaning these pools and they're covered in muck and you got to get the power washer, but it's bare bones. Power washing simulator got like 80 different tips or whatever. You could do whatever. This one is just like you're just washing stuff. But and then you gotta fill the pool, check the pH, do all the classic things there. This one has a lot of unnecessary add-ons that are kind of annoying, but it's kind of the same thing for those. Like level 2, there's like 200 rubber duckies in this empty pool, and you have to sort them. And I was at first I was like, all right, this is fine. It took me like a half hour to sort these goddamn ducks, man. And I was like, all right, no more of this, please. Like, they're trying to be cutesy, but as far as like jank, less than I expect from these games. There's always that level of clipping and weird stuff happening with your tools. But I'm having a blast with Pool Cleaning Simulator. I think it's one of the better simulator games that I've played recently.
Yeah, did you play this a little while back in early access?
I didn't. No, I didn't. Like, I only played it since it's the full release. These games at full release are like what most early access games are. So I'm not touching these games during EA, dude. Like I can't even imagine what they look like early on, because they come out broken once they're fully released. So, but I had fun.
You gotta love a good simulator, especially from Free Minds and Playway. Those are some of my favorites.
They know what they're doing, and it's the same thing. Each game is just different versions of the same thing, But it's fun. I enjoy just like checking off the list, going down. And then real quick, I did touch Astro's Playroom. This is the older Astrobot game on the PlayStation. There was like this little sneak update they did where they added like a few trophies, and they added some like hidden characters in the game that are kind of hyping up the launch of Astrobot. So it's really interesting. I told my son about it. He's like, it's his favorite game of all time. So he got excited. We went in, we found like there's one guy right now that's released. You got to do like figure out how to get him out of this container. We figured it out. And then there's this room where there's a countdown. And right now, it's at 88 days until Astrobot. And like, I guess every 30 days, I think they're going to release a new one of these characters to go unlock and get the trophies. So, of course we had to go in there and do that because we did have, all the trophies before the 100%, and now they're jamming us up by adding these 5 extra trophies. So we got to get them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I like when they do like Easter eggs and things like that in these games.
Yeah.
Of course, it's nice when they're a little more obvious and it's not like a Titanfall sort of thing. Like,
right.
Oh, the numbers on the wall mean something backwards.
Those are impossible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the first one was a little tougher. It was like a Bloodborne character. So that was a little extra special to me too. And that's one of in the new game, they had pre-release details for the Astrobot. And like, if you pre-order it, you get some new skins and stuff for the bot. And one of them is the Bloodborne maiden outfit. So I'm pretty stoked for that. So, all right, we got to get moving. Let's talk about our new releases from last week. All right, first up, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, came out on PS5, Xbox XS, and PC on June 4th. Now, I'm always a sucker for these asymmetrical horror games. My friends are big fans of the genre. So every time one comes out, we get one, we play it a couple times and never touch it again. So, story about this one. Friday night, they were online playing. They weren't playing this, and they were like, you should get Killer Clowns. I'm like, no, I'm not getting it. Because we always, I buy it, we play it once or twice, and never play it again because there's always a new one. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting it. 10 minutes later, I bought it. I'm downloading it. I'm a sucker.
Oh, wow.
So we played a couple nights worth of that, and it is a lot of fun. It's based on the 80s cult classic movie. You ever seen this movie?
I haven't. I've always seen it in the ether, but never watched it.
Yeah, it's weird, man. But the game is you could either play as a clown, and there's 3 clowns that work together to kill these humans, or you could play as a human, and there's a team of 7 humans, and you have to either escape or murder the clowns. So there's all these weapons and items that you could find to fight the clowns or to escape from the maps. it's pretty cool. The clowns also come with their own types of weapons and special abilities that upgrade the longer you play. There's a clownality where like you could basically murder these humans with a fancy style. And it's not it's not an amazing game, but for the few hours that I've played it, I had so much fun. So I definitely recommend it to anybody who's a fan of the asymmetrical horror game. This is definitely it's definitely a good one, because I've played some stinkers, and this one it was fun right from the start. There's a little bit of a learning curve trying to figure out all the mechanisms inside the game and what to do. But once you get going, it was a lot of laughs and a lot of excitement. So
yeah. So I figure like a big part of what draws people to this title or why it's like a cult classic is it's got a lot of camp to it. And the problem with a lot of these asymmetrical games, even based on licensed stuff like this, Ghostbusters, Texas Chainsaw, is they're a little bit shallow in like the story department. So does this one have a chance to get that campiness across to you?
Absolutely. Very full camp. Friday the 13th, the game was pretty campy. I don't even know on purpose or just by like the way that it was made, but this one is like it goes all in, and it's funny. Like the sound effects are like boing boing, like as you run as with one of the clowns, your feet squeak on the ground, so like people hear the clowns coming and stuff. So it's very silly. You when you capture the people, you capture them in like cotton candy balls, and then you hang them up. So it's definitely way sillier than any of the ones that I've played before, and that's what it lends to the enjoyment of it and the fun that I was having. So absolutely. All right, and next up, Star Wars Hunters came out on Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android devices. This is a free-to-play hero shooter with your Star Wars characters. There's 13 playable characters, and it's just like a PvP hero shooter. It's put out by Zynga. Classic. We haven't said that name in quite a while. There's 4 different game types. It looks a lot like, your classic, like Overwatch style thing. I'm not a big, neither of us are big Star Wars fans, but as I was watching a review of this earlier, I was like, that's a free to play game I could play on my phone. Why wouldn't I? It looks like a console game. As I'm looking at the reviews, I'm like, it doesn't look like a mobile game. It's pretty impressive. So I've heard decent things. It doesn't have a ton. It's kind of shallow. But for a free to play mobile game, like it does the trick.
Yeah, and it is on the Switch as well, so you can always play a big screen and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. I could download it on my Switch. That's probably not a bad idea. I was even thinking, because I got that Backbone thing, I was like, I could play it on my phone with that.
Yeah.
But that always makes my phone like 1,000,000 degrees.
Yeah, so. And your battery's gone. You're hurting your battery long term. Mobile gaming, when it comes to those like things that could be console games, kind of a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah, it really it really messes up the phone. That's not a bad idea. I'll put it on the old switcheroo, and we'll give it a shot, because it did look fun. You can get out there like Boba Fett and mess some stuff up. All right, we got to move this along even faster. We're bogging down. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get it going. Let's talk about our news of the week. All right, let's get this stuff out of the way so we can get to the big news this week. First up, June's Humble Bundle Choice did come out. Comes out the first Tuesday of every month. This month, subscribers get Risk of Rain 2, Knights of Honor 2, Sovereign, Lego 2K Drive Awesome Edition, Warhammer 40K Battle Sector, Miasma Chronicles, Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, A Guidebook of Babel, and Empyrean Galactic Survival. So, I actually skipped this month. This was a skip for me.
Oh. You probably already own Stray Gods, right?
No, so that was the reason I was going to buy it. I was like, okay, I'm absolutely getting this because I didn't have Stray Gods yet. I've been waiting for a good sale. So I'm like, man, this is great. $12. And then I'm looking at the games. I'm like, what game? Risk of Rain 2, I would play that. Lego 2K Drive, I would play that, but I do have that on console. And then this Guidebook of Babel, I would play. It looked interesting. The rest of them are strategy kind of simulation games. Very heavy on strategy games this month. The other four. So I was like, if I can trade for Risk of Rain and Stray Gods, I'm not gonna buy them. And I was able to trade some of my older keys for those two games, so it worked out. And I skipped a month. So yeah.
That's a pro strategy because like that when this comes up on Humble Bundle, that everybody and their mother's going to have one of these available that they just didn't want that game, and you can always get the game or two that you're cherry pick.
Yep. And for this month, it was real easy because Stray Gods is like a story musical. There's not a ton of people that want that. That was pretty quick. Everybody was like, I'm trading Stray Gods. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. And then Risk of Rain 2, that was one, as far as like the main games of the month, it wasn't very good because it's been on sale for like, I think like $5 or $6, which I never bought it because I don't know. I didn't really know about it until this. But so many people who are, playing these games already had it. So they were trading that away. So it was pretty easy to secure those two games. So, but again, $12 for all those games, definitely a steal. The 2K Drive is the awesome edition. So it comes with a bunch of other stuff. And it's definitely a fun racing game if you don't already have that. So definitely, go sign up and, get the bundle from Humble Bundle. All right, and then June Game Pass was announced and available now. Octopath Traveler 2, and then Depersonalization comes June 12th. Aizanzo comes June 13th. The Callisto Protocol, June 13th. Still Wakes the Deep, that's a day one game, available on June 18th. So those are the ones that are announced now. Now, I'm kind of expecting them to have some announcements at the Xbox Showcase today. So we'll see if that gets fleshed out with some new drops coming to Game Pass. One of the things I'm wondering, because they have that Black Ops thing today too. I'm like, is today the day they're putting old Call of Duties on? I said duties. Do they put the older Call of Duties I said duties again on Game Pass or what? So could be some shadow drops later today, but still Wakes the Deep. That's been one. I remember when that was announced, you and I were excited for that one. It looks creepy. You're in an oil rig out there, and it's all like about isolation. Isolation. I added a whole extra section to that word. And that one looks cool. And people
is that a day one?
Yeah,
we were just looking at like trailers real recently on that.
Right? Yeah, that was fast. I was very surprised. So yeah, that's a day one game. And then Callisto Protocol, I know is supposed to be like hot garbage, but people can try it out now without any downside.
Yeah. There are a few things that I probably go out of my way to check out here. I don't know much about the Octopath Traveler games, though. Have you played that series?
No, but my friends who are big fans of JRPGs love them. They're their favorites. One of their favorites of that style of games. So those are long. They're I think 80-hour JRPG games. So if you got the time, do it, baby. Do it. All right, so we'll see if anything gets added to Game Pass later today. But now, for the reason that everybody's here, the reason that you and I are here, Summer Games Fest just took place. It was a 2-hour event. Now, before it even happened, they're like, okay, don't expect like a ton of major announcements, that sort of thing. So, we knew going into it that it wasn't going to be like huge things knocking our socks off. But there was a lot of fun things showcased, a lot of new trailers, some announcements, and you and I were just gonna instead of going over everything, let's just hit the our favorites. So let's go back and forth with our favorite moments from the show. And why don't you kick us off?
All right, number 5. Now I don't know if you had yours in like any particular order, but I did a 1 through 5 ranking.
Okay, I can do
Number
that.
5 was Wonder Stop. Did you see the trailer for this one?
I did, and I knew as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's gonna be on Full Clip's list.
Right, and there's not a whole lot of information about it just
No,
yet. The trailer was all like, what do you call it, cinematic, and it's just kind of introducing you to this character who's in like the cozy game kind
yeah,
of genre of game, but this is obviously like a warrior from a fighting game, and you have to make some speculations there about like what does that mean? Is this cozy village where you're doing your farming and your shopping going to come under attack, and you as the warrior have
yeah.
to save it or something? That's just my speculation on it, but
I
interested
agree.
to see more on this one.
Yeah, it looked like it's gonna take a turn. It doesn't look like it's only gonna be in there, and it's an Annapurna interactive game. They always make these, amazing games with great stories. So, and it's the creator of Stanley Parable, working on that. So, there's gonna be some sort of twist or something in there. So, yeah, I'm absolutely excited to see where that one goes. Um, all right, yeah, I'll put this in order. So, number 5 for me. Now, this wasn't even really a trailer of anything, but the new Skate trailer, and it was just like, and I think I included it because I love Tim Robinson and I love his comedy. So like them doing this bit, it's just like this office closing up, and they're like just talking about like the company closing, and that was it. And then I'm like, are they gonna show any like gameplay footage at all? And they weren't. The thing stopped, and then it was like, okay, here's some footage, but it's pre alpha. It's set at the bottom, and it's just Skate. It's just what you expect. Bunch of people on the thing at the same time. So I don't know if there's going to be like, this open world where you could skate through it with other people around. Like, I have no idea what it's going to be, but Skate was always one of those games that like I had fun playing it. I was never really good at it. I never mastered it. Like, I feel like I was better at like Tony Hawk, because that was a little more arcadey than Skate.
Yeah.
But just this trailer had me laughing. Tim Robinson always, I'm a huge fan of what he does. But then they did say you could sign up for play tests, get in there and test out the game. So, no dates, nothing like that, no real good gameplay footage, but it was a great trailer, and it was fun.
All right, number 4 on my end was Phantom Blade Zero, and this might be the most like epic fighting game of the night.
Dude, it looked insane.
Yeah, it brings me back to like Onimusha 2 on the PlayStation 2, which just kind of changed my view of of games like this, of the
Hmm.
fighting genre, the sword master genre of games.
Right. Yeah, it had that Sekiro kind of vibe. But yeah, it looked great. I know, like, I remember seeing the trailer previously, and I feel like this one even looked different than that one. But it's, I don't know what to expect or when to expect it. But yeah, I'm definitely here for Phantom Blade Zero whenever we get more information on that one. Number 4 for me is DLC for a game I've never played, but Alan Wake 2 Night Springs DLC was shown off, and in it you control 3 characters. And for me, the draw, Jesse Faden from Control, one of my favorite games, is a playable character in this DLC. And then on top of that, like the DLC looked weird and silly and out there. And immediately I downloaded Alan Wake remastered. I'm gonna play it this week, and I'm gonna get through it. They also announced that Alan Wake 2 will have a full physical release now. This is the first time it's going to be on disc, and it will come with this new definitive edition. Will come with the Night Springs DLC. So I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense for me to jump in there. But yeah, it looked the vibe of it, man. I was like, dude, I have to play this game. The only time I ever felt that way about a sequel of a game was with the Death Stranding
Yeah.
trailer from before. I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I need to know. And that's how I feel about this. I got to know what this is, and I want to get in there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like depth to the Alan Wake story. And I don't know
Right?
half of it,
No,
just
me
having never
neither.
played it. But this whole like waitress coming in with a shotgun, I had no idea what this game was until they said it was Alan Wake 2.
Yes.
All right, next is I don't know how to say Neva or Neva.
Oh yeah. I
This game,
think it was Neva.
yeah, looks a little more indie. It's from the developer of Gris, which I've never played. If I'm going to compare this to games that I have played, I'm going to say it looks a little bit like Journey,
Hmm.
but gameplay style is more like that Inside or
Yeah.
Fox Tales, even the left to right kind of scrolling. And I think that I will eventually be picking this game up. Hopefully, it's on like Switch or something, because I think this is a game where me and my wife can sit on the couch and play this together. It's not all cutesy, even though that's sort of the outward appearance of these trailers. It does look like it gets heated in there with some battle and
Sure.
enemies.
Yeah, I remember when this first trailer was shown, and they show like the like I remember people talking about how much like they cried during the trailer because it shows like the mother whatever wolf deer thing like protecting and it was like it's this gorgeous looking story, this animation. You're there for like the whole life of this creature as you go through your game. That one was, if you didn't put it on your list, it was going to be on mine. So yeah, I'm very much excited for when we get that one. My next big one, the Bloomhouse Games came out with a trailer that had a bunch of different games. It's kind of what they're doing on their break into video games is they're coming out with a whole bunch of them throughout the year. What were some of them? I don't know. Grave Seasons, Fear the Spotlight, Sleep Awake, Chrysol Theater of Idols. Um, I don't know, dude. They all looked different too. Like every single one of them, they had those kind of like that PlayStation style ones with like the old school graphics. They had some that were like really trippy, like first person ones. Like all these different games. Like it was just like a sizzle reel of these games coming out, and they looked. The next one looked creepier than the next, and I'm very excited. They had Jason Blum there come out and talk about it and what their plan is for this. And I was like, they definitely seem like they have an idea of what they want Blumhouse Game Studio to be, and I like where they're going with this.
Right. I imagine the potential for like VR if you're in
Right,
paranormal activity or something.
dude. Yeah, there's so much they could do. And if they start like basically, he said that they're doing what they do for movies. They're going out trying to find things that scare them, that freak them out, indie things, whatever. They don't have one vision set in mind. They're going to all these different independent studios and saying, "Hey, can we put your game under our umbrella because it moves us, it creeps us out?" And I was like, it's such a great idea, such a great way to put these games out, and they look like they know what they're doing. So I'm hyped.
All right. Next up, Lego Horizon Adventures.
This is a weird
So
one.
this is, yeah. It's a mashup. It's like a game being put into the Lego universe, which is, you know, I don't know. I guess Lego Fortnite is kind of like that, but in
Sure.
reverse. I don't know how that works, but it's not the usual move from Lego. Usually, you're going to have your Star Wars or Indiana Jones or whatever movie property turned into a video game with Lego characters. But this is a video game translated into a Lego video game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it works when you see like the monsters and things like that of the Horizon world.
Yes, dude. This is going to create like if it takes off, like imagine you're going to get the Lego building packs or whatever with the giant Horizon
Oh
creatures
yeah,
because they are all components put together, so it's easy to imagine them as Legos. But yeah, it was weird because like at some point like it was very tongue-in-cheek, had that Lego kind of humor with it. And it if you've played the Horizon games, there's not a lot of humor in those games, so it was like it seemed a little out of place. But at the same time, because then there's like skins that you could put on everything, the whole Legofication of the world.
yeah.
But yeah, it looks great, and it looks like something that could you know um get someone even interested in the Horizon universe. You know, say you're a kid and you're playing this cool Lego game. Bam, you've got two other, you know, full-fledged Horizon games that you could play if you're a fan of that universe. So very cool. Yeah, that's coming out this holiday season. And one of the surprising things was, in addition to Steam and Epic Games, it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch. So, you know, it's a PlayStation title going to be on Nintendo Switch. No Xbox. You know, they're still not doing that. PlayStation's still not feeling that vibe. But it was interesting to see it on the Switch. So yeah. Another one that I was excited for, that I've never been a huge fan of, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But when I saw this old school beat 'em up game, I was like, this game looks awesome. So it's Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, and it is you know, the classic Power Rangers in like that style, like we had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up game a couple years ago or whatever. This is like that. You're out there fighting, you know, all the iconic bad guys from Power Rangers. So and then on top of that, like so there's like, you know, you could go into your Zords or whatever, and then there was like roller coasters, and it was a whole mashup of weird game styles. And I'm very, very intrigued. I'm assuming it's going to be a like a co-op beat 'em up type thing, but yeah, I want to see more.
Oh, absolutely, definitely one for the '90s kids on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was like, I'm a little too old for Power Rangers. I still watched it, but I grew out of it fairly quickly then. But you know, looking back, it immediately had that nostalgia. You know, I remembered all this stuff. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I was like, my son's gonna learn who the Power Rangers are, because that's how he learned who Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were, is by playing the last game. So. Yeah,
you can't hear that like guitar riff come in from the intro
right,
without
dude,
just getting a little hype.
Absolutely.
So the number one on mine, and I feel a little controversial in this, but New World Eternum, and that's because nobody knows exactly what this is. It's like a part remake, part console port, but also available on PC. I don't know exactly, but I do know that I did enjoy New World. And the unfortunate part was not a lot of people bought it, so I never had like a crew to play with on there, and you really needed that. At a certain point in the game, I couldn't really progress without finding people who could like tell me even how to go find the raid, to do the raid, and that was the only way I was going to progress.
Yeah.
And fortunately, this new version is something that you're supposedly be able to play solo all the way through if you want to.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of tuned out when I saw this was New World, and it's always one that I've watched gameplay of, and I've been, you know, interested. I've been, you know, I was like, I could get down with this game. And then when I saw that this was a announcement for release date for consoles, and it includes all of the previous stuff from the New World game, I was like, this could be it for me. Could be my foray into this world. I'm very interested to see more of it. Yeah, October 15th that comes out is the release date for that. So yeah, I could see myself getting in there. It does have crossplay between platforms, so yeah, I'm excited for some more New World. All right, and then my last highlight, Metaphor ReFantazio had another trailer. Now, we've seen trailers of this before. We've seen footage before. This one was more focused on the different archetypes that you can have as your characters. And as I'm watching this, I was interested in the game, you know, before. But as I watched this trailer, it immediately became my most anticipated game going forward. The style looks amazing. The different archetypes are classic RPG archetypes, but the way that they do them, where they can, you know, they can morph and add different ones onto them. I did then go watch, like, there's like a 30-minute breakdown of the way that the gameplay handles these things on IGN after that. And I was like, okay, Like I want to know. I'm just like I want to give me all the information. I want to know more about Metaphor, and yeah, it looks gorgeous. If you're a fan of the Persona games, this is going to be right up your alley. But I like it because it's a little bit more of an adult style, not adult like mature or anything like that. But it's not in high. You're not in high school anymore. It's like this is just like that. It's basically Persona, but you don't have to worry about going to school and making friends and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like grown up
Yeah,
Persona.
and that's what I thought it was at the beginning of this trailer. And I'm like, oh, great, another one of these. And I was going to tune out. But yeah, when you get into the whole, what was it? What were they called? Archetypes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they talk about like collecting them, but it's like people that you're meeting are these archetypes, and you're trying to get them to unlock the hidden potential or something inside of them.
Right.
It almost made it feel a little bit more like a Pokemon game where you're collecting people who
Right.
turn into the monsters.
Yeah, very cool. Like I'm excited to even just see more. I want to see some of the gameplay, some of the fighting. I think it's still turn based. This one's more like fantasy, like classic role playing game fantasy. But yeah, you've got all like the brawler and mage and warrior and stuff like that for different archetypes. But then they go down, fine tune as much more specific versions too. So yeah, October 11th for this one. I'm very, very excited to get in there and check that out.
One question: will there be monster breeding?
Mm, Hopefully, I know that's what gets you in. That what gets you into them games. Um, Before we move on though, real quick, I'm surprised you did not have Cuff Bust on your list. Did you watch that trailer?
Now, Cup Bust, was that the one that looks a little bit like Among Us?
Yeah, it looks terrible. It's about like them these little creatures like breaking out of prison
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, these weird like mouse-looking alien things.
Yeah,
Um,
it looked not great,
Yeah,
but it was like real
to
silly.
me,
Yeah.
it's just taking the concept of a game that's been done 1,000 times over and 1,000 times over in Roblox alone, like Prison Break.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's what we're looking at here. It's just got some interesting characters.
Yeah, it
The
looked
person
silly.
who
It was
made Choo Choo Charles did this.
right. Yeah, the guy that did Choo Choo Charles. So it's going to be good.
I guess if I were to give a honorable mention here, the Harry Potter Quidditch Champions game, because I played the closed alpha of that, and I don't know what I can say and what not. But you can glean from the trailers that's basically like Quidditch Rocket League.
Did you have fun playing it?
I did. Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
cool.
I don't know how many times you could repeat it. I
Right.
mean, you have to have some sort of hook in there, like Rocket League has all its skins and things that you're going to
Yeah.
work for over time.
I want to see like
But I'd
Fortnite
play
type
again.
skins on like the Harry
Yeah.
Potter characters, like a banana riding a broom. Like,
Yeah, I want to be Goku.
yeah, exactly. I think that would be good. I think my honorable mention goes to Killer Bean. Um, Stupid game where you play as a killer bean.
Yeah, that one was wild. Almost looking like a Hitman type game or something.
Right. Yeah. It
so,
was
so serious, except you're beans.
so over the top and so much like bullet time and stuff like that. Yeah, it was intense. So yeah, that was it for the Summer Game Fest. Oh, and Valorant coming to consoles. So that was exciting. It's a game I've always wanted to try and never had the opportunity. So yeah, that's basically it for Summer Game Fest. Obviously we didn't touch on everything, but all the most important things were right there. Don't worry about it. You don't even have to watch any of the other stuff. All the most important stuff was right there. Xbox Game Showcase starts as of this recording. It starts in 4 minutes. Full clip is unavailable to chat about that. He's got much more important things to do, but I'll be back if there's some cool stuff. All right, it's time to talk about the Xbox Showcase. You're stuck with just me for this portion. Full clip had to go work his job. What's that all about? Video games. That's what we should be talking about, not work. But we got a lot to talk about. The showcase was over 2 hours long. Ton of new games shown, new trailers shown, lots of stuff. I'm going to try to hit on everything. at least a little bit, and focus on some of the things that moved me. You know what I mean? It starts off with Black Ops 6, the cinematic kind of campaign trailer. Set to Firestarter, so it's like, yeah, it gets you going. But it's, post Cold War. We got Reagan, Clinton, the whole Bush, the whole gang there. And then Phil Spencer comes out, talks about Call of Duty. It's gonna be no more exclusives, no more timed exclusives or anything. Every game, it's all coming out at the same time. And then there was a deep dive into Black Ops 6 at the end of the show. And I'm not going to really get into that. There's a lot to talk about, but we'll cover that next week. Then they move into Doom, The Dark Ages, one of the highlights of the showcase for me. It's Doom, but like medieval times. And it's got, mechs and dragons and a shield that is also a chainsaw. The weapons look insane, and it's got the same Doom style that you're used to. Everything is just hyper violent and stylish. It looks so good. Can't wait to see that. Next up, State of Decay 3. I got a cinematic for that, a little gameplay sprinkled in here and there. And then another highlight, Dragon Age, The Veilguard. So they just changed the name to The Veilguard. And we got to see more about like what it was going to be. So it was really like getting the team together. They showed the 7 companions that you're going to have, like their role, what they do, if they're fighters or magicians and that sort of thing. But it was a great cinematic trailer. It was a great introduction to the characters and to the world. So that's coming this fall, supposedly. It's weird that we've only seen a few things of this, still no gameplay, and still set to come out fall 2024. So I'm skeptical, but we'll see. Next up, Starfield DLC, Shattered Space, that's called. Some Fallout 76, the Skyline Valley DLC that drops later this week. And then in 2025, they introduce you'll be able to play as a ghoul. So very exciting there. And then this game came out of nowhere and got me going. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. So this looks very, very, very stylish. Really cool looking characters and worlds and enemies. Like everything was very, very beautifully done. The artwork, but the gameplay was what really got me going. It's like turn based, but there were like quick time events, and I couldn't tell if it was set to any like beat or music or anything like that, but it was really cool. Really interesting way of doing turn-based combat. So excited to see more of that in the near future. That's got a 2025 release window. Next up, another one that we had seen before, but now we got some gameplay footage. South of Midnight. The game. My initial impression when they showed just the cinematic trailer last showcase, I was meh. I was very meh on it. This one though, I absolutely am excited for it. It's like this stop motion kind of animation. The gameplay is in third person, but they showcased like the powers that the character has and the traversal, and it's all like really cool. I don't know. At one point you're just riding on a giant catfish, and then there's like a giant alligator. But one thing that was really cool is you're fighting this enemy, and as she defeats the enemy, the ground turns to like this lush, like all wildflowers and stuff like that, and butterflies flying out, and it was really, really cool. I'm excited to see more of that. That one's got a 2025 release date as well. Next up, we got the World of Warcraft, the War Within DLC, August 26th for that one. Next up, another cool one, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. We finally got some gameplay for this one, and it looks great. I'm not big on the Metal Gear Solid, I get it, but stealth-based games, it's not my thing. I'm not a big fan of the stealth-based games, but I get this. The gameplay looks fantastic, and we got to hear some voice lines, and they're using voice lines from the original game. So very cool. And then they hit on Sea of Thieves Season 13 coming July 25th. And then Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. This is another one that was pretty cool. I don't know really what it is. The fighting looked cool. The powers looked awesome. And there's this flying fox thing that you like ride or turn into. I don't remember, or I couldn't tell, but the traversal was it looked fun. So that one, it piqued my interest. That one comes out July 18th, so don't gotta wait long for that. Perfect Dark. Here we go. Perfect Dark. We got a first look at the gameplay. This one, we haven't heard a thing about it since it was initially talked about like years ago. But the gameplay, it looks really good. So at first it was just all like stealth gameplay with all these gadgets and stuff like that to stay hidden and see your enemies, and I was a little bummed. Like I said before, I'm not a big fan of stealth gameplay, but as it got going, we start to see like parkour movements, and then the gunplay and the fighting, and it was like really intense. The guns were cool. The shooting was cool, and then like the hand-to-hand combat. I was like, how is like I can't wait to see how this is realized in game, because it looked very cinematic in what we were shown. So yeah, very excited to see more Perfect Dark. No release window or anything for that. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred got a weird, creepy cinematic. Very cool. Comes out October 8th for that. It's got a new region, new class. And then Fable. Didn't expect to see more from Fable, but I was very happy to see some. This one focuses on another hero, Humphrey, telling a tale of his retirement and this new hero that came along. And yeah, it's again, you're getting an idea of the world and the humor and the writing and that sort of thing. So 2025, they told us for that. Next up, Frag Punk is a 5v5 hero shooter that you use like cards. It looked strange. Excited to see more though on that. I mean, as we talked about recently, this is the year of the hero shooter, so they're going to need to do something interesting to stand out. Winter Burrow is like a mouse game. It was like this cozy little survival game. Flight Simulator 2024. You could literally fly anything in this game now. They're like, here's a lawn chair with a helicopter, and it's like, yeah, you could fly it. Very cool. Now, this next one, this came out of nowhere, and it was my favorite trailer of the whole show. Mixtape. This is from Annapurna, and then Beethoven and Dinosaur, the guys that did The Artful Escape. So it's set in like the 80s, and you're these teens, and you just want to, it's about this summer with your friends, and the art style is gorgeous. It points to like, skating down a hill or riding in a shopping cart or just out for a ride in the car, and it's just so well done. And then the major part of it though is the soundtrack. They got this great 80s soundtrack: Devo, Joy Division, Susie and the Banshees, Roxy Music, and it was just such a gorgeous game, and it looks like the story is going to be fantastic. I'm so excited for that one, but that's got a release date of 2025 as well. Next up, Life is Strange, Double Exposure. More in the Life is Strange world. Max Caulfield is back. We get to learn more about her and see more of that world. Comes out 10/29, so not too long for that one. Next up, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This one again looked fantastic. It looks like you're playing a movie. The representation of Harrison Ford and the voice actor, so well done. They showed like a scene from the game, maybe like a 3, 4, 5 minute scene from the game, and it looked just like a scene taken from an Indiana Jones movie. They did show a little gameplay towards the end, and the gameplay is where I start to question the game. It does look a little dated, a little slower, but I think it'll fit the style of the game and the overall speed and tone of the game. So we'll see. I hope it's just not clunky. You need to be able to transition into this amazing scene that looks like a movie into this great gameplay, to make it feel coherent. So excited to see more from Indiana Jones. Next up, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. This is another one that I was unfamiliar with, but it's this beautiful world, creepy but beautiful, and very like Souls-ish. It definitely has Souls-like in the gameplay, as well as the characters, the enemies. They look, weird and over the top. So that one is one to keep an eye on. 2025 for that one as well. Got a new trailer for Avowed. That one is starting to look better. My initial impressions of the first trailer, meh. This one looks better. That one's supposed to be coming later this year, so I'm sure we'll be getting more and more information about that. Atomfall is from the people that brought us Sniper Elite. Is another post-apocalyptic role-playing game. It didn't really do anything for me, so yeah, it looked kind of generic. 2025 for that one. And then more Assassin's Creed Shadows, more Stalker 2, and then they introduced us to some new Xboxes. There's a all digital Series X coming out, a 1 terabyte Series S, and then a 2 terabyte special edition Black Series X. Those will be coming out soon. No mention of any handhelds. I know that was the big rumor going in, whether or not we'll see a handheld. And they did talk, I don't know who it was, IGN or something. I just read an article they talked to Phil Spencer about that, saying people were, hopeful for that. And he said this was a focus on the games, and that, he didn't deny it. So I'm kind of thinking that it's coming soon-ish, I would guess. But then they did the one more thing, the last big reveal, Gears of War, E-Day coming out. They brought back Mad World, the song, just an instrumental version this time. But this is a prequel. It's set 14 years before Gears of War. On Emergence Day, brings back Marcus Phoenix and Don Santiago. And yeah, more Gears. It looks, like back to what brought the series to the forefront, what made it popular. So yeah, I gotta play some Gears of War. I never dipped my toe into that. So, but it looks good. I'm excited to check it out. And that was it. It was an amazing showcase. So much better than anything we've seen this weekend. The Summer Games Fest was very meh. Not a ton of great, things there. State of Play. Obviously, the State of Play can't really compare that, but we get excited. And then this Xbox showcase, and 90% of the games I want to play, and 90% of them, if not all of them, are coming to Game Pass day one. So very cool to see that. As long as you're a Game Pass subscriber, you have access to these games as they're coming out. And like I said, they all looked amazing. There were so many games where I was just putting stars next to half of them. So yeah, Mixtape, Perfect Dark, Gears of War, that Song of the Midnight Sun, whatever that one's called, South of Midnight, Clair Obscur, all great games. All looking forward to them, and yeah, we'll get them on Game Pass when they do arrive. So yeah, and we'll probably touch on this a little bit next week when Full Clip is back and see what his thoughts are on this showcase. So yeah, back to the show. Anything else you want to chat about?
No, I only had one thing that I forgot to throw in there when we were talking about Game Pass and Humble Bundle, is that this week's Epic Games free game is Marvel Midnight Suns. So if you don't already have that, that's probably worth picking up. I know I definitely did.
Go get that game. I've been playing that a little bit this week. I went back in. It's a fun game. Definitely enjoying that. All right, that's it from us here at Gaming News Weekly. Thanks for checking this out. Be sure to go to YouTube, hit subscribe at Pop Culture Playground. That's where you'll find this show. Also, GameFAQs, GameFAX. That's where you'll find full clips, gameplay, and podcasts. Anywhere podcasts are found, type in GNW. You'll get this show. Definitely subscribe there. Leave a review if you like this show. And Yeah, that's that's it for that. And then go check out TikTok. We'll be posting a bunch of stuff there, daily content. You know, all the conversations are happening over at TikTok. So come join us there. We'll chat about some games. And that's it. So yeah, we'll see you next week with more big news. We'll talk about the Ubisoft event and everything that comes after that next week. So we'll see you then.